Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, you may not know this, but today, August 9th, is National Book Lovers Day. So, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to make some blackberry sorbet, and since it's really easy to make, I'm also going to tell you about 5 of my favorite books for National Book Lovers Day. So, before I talk about the books, let's make the sorbet. First thing I have to do, really easy, blend a pound of frozen blackberries and a 1/4 cup of honey. Blend it together until it's nice and smooth. I don't know how to use this NutriBullet. Give me 5 seconds. Okay, I figured it out. One thing I messed up on, I'm way over the max line, so I have to do this in 2 rounds. And then I screw this into that, and then put it onto that, and then we're good to go. Let me fix that. Okay, I got it on, no mess. I don't know how it starts, so I think it's just a push. That's really loud. Okay, so I think the first half looks pretty done. It's pretty hard to use at first because since the blackberries are so frozen, a blender or a food processor just might toss it around for a minute. But I'm gonna blend it a little bit more, see if that works out, and then that first half will be done. Okay, it's nice and pureed. We're gonna throw this in the freezer for 2 hours. Okay, the sorbet has hardened up quite a bit, so I'm going to have a little taste while I tell you about my favorite books. So, number 1, Crime and Punishment. You probably already saw that coming. Crime and Punishment is about a guy who basically questions morality and law and whether or not he thinks he can get away with murder. So that's what he does. He commits not a 1 homicide, but a double homicide. And then the book is basically about his descent into madness while the police work to catch him. And I think he ends up turning himself in at the very end. And then during the book, falls in love with a girl that loves him even though he commit this double homicide. He goes to a labor camp in Russia once he is sentenced, does his whole sentence. His girlfriend/wife visits him in the prison, and that's basically the book. I just really like this book because I think I just really love drama in books, really over-the-top drama sometimes, and I thought the writing was very interesting. I really liked the translation that I read, and the book almost reminded me of the soap operas that you would see on TV at 3 o'clock after you got home from school. And I kind of grew up watching soap operas after school every day. So the soap opera-esque scenes sometime really made me giggle. So Crime and Punishment, definitely one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites, you probably also saw this one coming, is 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. This book is a chunky book. It's 1,400 pages long. It revolves around 2 characters, Aomami and Tengo. Aomami is a professional hit woman, basically. And Tengo is a soon-to-be ghostwriter writing a book that this teenager wrote. And I would explain the plot in further depth, but there's just so much to this book that I couldn't even begin. And it's just this really super cool magical realism book. It's just packed with so much plot and so much detail that, like, I could not put it down, even if I wanted to. Like, there were multiple sessions that I read it that I would read through like 400 pages in a sitting. Like, it was that good. Number 3 is probably one of my all-time favorites. It is Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson, a middle grade book about a freshman girl in high school that got raped the summer before her freshman year of school, and the trauma that surrounds that, and her navigating high school, this new school environment, while also having to deal with the fact that her rapist is a senior in the high school that she goes to, and her getting bullied, like how she's just dealing with everything. And this was a book that I read when I was in 6th grade, and it impacted me quite strongly because I, one, did not learn a lot about sexual abuse or any of those types of crimes at that age. That was kind of like my first real dip into what that was and how that affects a person. And after reading Speak, I kind of really fell in love with Laurie Halse Anderson. I've read most of her other young adult novels like Winter Girls, Twisted, Catalyst, Fever 17, something. Love Laurie Halse Anderson, and Speak is basically the book that introduced me to her. Also, fun fact, she's like a local author from my area that's now like nationally acclaimed, so that's cool. Gonna take a brief interlude to talk about the sorbet. I don't really like blackberry, I never have, but this is really good. I think the honey really gives that better flavor. This is good. I do like this a lot. Really easy too, like 10 minutes prep time max. Super easy. 5 out of 5 recipe. I will probably be making this a lot. And it's like a super healthy dessert. Like, it's just blackberry and honey. You can't really go wrong with that, I don't think. Anyway, number 4 of the books that I wanted to talk about, Becoming by Michelle Obama. This came out like 2 years ago. It is Michelle Obama's memoir on her time as the First Lady of the United States during Barack Obama's presidency. And I also read Barack Obama's memoir. I can't remember the name for the life of me at the moment, but I read his memoir, and that was really good, but it mostly talked about his policies and stuff like that, and his experience running for the Senate and then the presidency. And that book was cool, but I actually liked Michelle Obama's memoir a lot more because, yes, it talks about the presidency and how running worked, but it also talked about how her and Barack met and raising kids and having a family, and how running for political seats affected their lives, and the emotions that surrounded that, the frustration that surrounded that, all of the major points of their political career. And I thought that was really cool. I liked the more personal aspect of her memoir than Barack Obama's. Both are great, but Becoming was definitely my favorite over those two. And also, I read the audiobook of both of these, and I just really enjoyed listening to Barack Obama and Michelle Obama narrate these books. I've just always kind of liked them growing up in their presidency, and I like their voices. I think their voices are nice. And then number 5 is another one that I read very recently, is Tweak by Nick Sheff. Tweak is about the author's experience with being addicted to methamphetamine and the story of his adulthood, growing up addicted, and how that affected his life, and the ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs of rehab and addiction and rehab and addiction and rehab and addiction. And it almost seems repetitive, but that's the way that being addicted to meth is. He mentions a couple times that 2 years is the amount of time it takes for a meth addict to properly, like, not become unaddicted, but like get themselves off the craving of meth. So yeah, it's a tough book to get through. It's really raw, but I think that's, again, something I didn't know a lot about, so it really captured my interest very quickly. And I really loved that point of view that the author gave us, you know, a really honest and true experience of his addiction. There is also a book by his father called Beautiful Boy. There's a movie, Timothée Chalamet is in it, and it talks about the father's point of view of his son's meth addiction and how that affected his family. Like, those two books show how addiction can affect not just the one who is addicted, but the entire circle of family in that person's life. But just of the two, Tweak happened to be my favorite, but Beautiful Boy was really good too. So yeah, those are 5 favorite books recently for Book Lovers Day. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed my blackberry sorbet. Pretty solid. I liked it a lot. Happy Book Lovers Day. What are your favorite books that you've read recently or just of all time? Let me know in the comments, because I want to know. I'm always looking for new stuff to read, and I love reading people's favorite books. So, like this video, comment down below your favorites, maybe even subscribe if you're down for it.